Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. No one's here viewing yet, but hopefully someone will join in soon. If not, this video will be available to be viewed at a later time. This is the Empowered Pause. I am your host, Rachel Chenoa J. Good evening, happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. All right, before we get started on this evening's topic, I just would like to give you a little information about Speak Initiative. Good evening, Lisa. Thank you for joining. How are you? Good evening, beautiful people. So I'm just going to get started with a little information about Speak Initiative, which is a nonprofit committed to combating the rise of suicide in our communities. SPEAK stands for Suicide Prevention Through Empowerment, Action, and Kindness. And as you can see by the banner below, we are still fundraising for the Empowered Pause and the other programs that SPEAK Initiative has already launched, which are the 90-day intensive and the Fearless Start. Good evening, Coco. Thank you for joining. Nice to see you. We also have some programs that are coming in the future, but if you would like to give or get more information about Speak Initiative and our programming, please visit our website, which is on the banner below, or you can take it down, which is www.speaksuicideprevention.org. You can also find us on all social media platforms. The Empowered Pause is one of the programs under our empowerment philosophy. So we're live each Wednesday evening. Unfortunately, not last week, but we'll get into that. But it's a brief check-in where our speakers and our listeners take a moment to pause, gather, connect, recharge, and offer some empowering words, ideas, or just space to be heard. Okay. So again, how is everyone feeling? I have a few people watching. Good evening, Tanya. Good evening, AQ. Again, good evening, Lisa. Good evening, Coco. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much. Anyone would put in the comments how you're feeling? If not, we'll just get right back on track. Hi, Tanya. How are you? I guess everyone's feeling good today. Thank you for sharing or not sharing. That's quite all right. If you're thinking about how you're feeling, feel free to drop any of your comments in the chat. Okay. So today, again, I apologize for not being here last Wednesday, but today we're getting back on track. I want to talk a little bit about being today, not being a parent, a friend, a professional, a partner, but just the idea of being the human that you are. For the past few weeks here in New York City, and I believe most places, were experiencing that heat wave that slowed down a few of our paces. For myself, it was really challenging because it was hard to manifest anything outside of my house. It was extremely uncomfortable for me. So, without the blessings of air conditioning, I was not really trying to go anywhere. And even if sometimes in the house it was a little too warm because, they cut the power down at certain times when there's a chance of a heat wave. So, of course, everything was running on a lower power, even though I have AC. I decided I needed to just sit still for a little while and be still. So I see you're exhausted and recovering from surgery, Coco. You've been in my prayers, and I hope that you're still doing well. I believe this is week 5, if I'm not mistaken. So you're in my prayers, and I hope that all is going well with your recovery. So this share isn't about the weather. The weather was crazy. We can all attest to that, but this is not about the weather. This is about being and being okay with that. While I and everyone else was struggling with the heat, I decided to turn inward and decided to enjoy the calm of my space, catch up on some things that I neglected to do and some self care, right? However, as soon as I decided to do me, so to speak, I started becoming really anxious. And because, like many of us, I have an old dialogue in my head about productivity and purpose. See, early in life, I believed that my worth was tied to my productivity. This idea continued to adulthood, where it was reinforced by college, work, environment, and circumstances. But I learned with a lot of work that this idea is not true for me. And it's not true for any of you either. It was challenging to address and change this belief because this goes against the things we are told, the things we are taught, given, and shown. But it is possible. So now we fast forward to the present. It's supposed to be a healthier time and a healthier place for myself. But I have these nagging thoughts that aren't things that I still believe, so to speak. But I guess I'd say I would be lying if I didn't struggle with it, because this is one of those times where it came up. So those old associates of mine, I'm going to call them doubt and judgment, were planning a visit because I could feel the familiar seeping into my mind and heart. And I again knew that that old narrative was wrong, but I couldn't help what I was feeling. So I know that even if we don't believe or receive something, that doesn't mean that it won't pop up just to retest us or test our limits, right? So the difference between the present and my present response and my past response is now I am able to give myself a few moments, not to fight, but to just be, right? To try to decipher the flood of unwelcome emotions and figure out what was truly making me feel unproductive. Because we are doing so many things in a day. It's not that we're unproductive, it's that we tell ourselves we have to keep going, we have to do so much, we have all of this weight on our shoulders, and sometimes we might just need to take a moment, right? So in my mind, I was asking myself, did I finish my task? Did I clean up? Did I send all of the emails I needed to send? All types of things were popping up because I happen to be a list person. So I create lists of things that I have to do for the day, the week, the month, etc. And of course, my brain started going through every list that I have. So as the familiar kept trying to get my entire attention, I defiantly did nothing but go inward to try to just be in an attempt to quiet the noise. I had to remind myself that there is always going to be something to do, and it is okay if I listen to some 80s R&B and reminisce for a little while, that there would be no punishment or recourse for taking care of myself. If I decided to sit still and color for an hour, take a longer than usual bath, call a friend and catch up, whatever I decided, that it too would be fine. So of course, we all have responsibilities, we have deadlines, appointments, life is definitely happening. However, in the process of living, we can make space to give ourselves grace. When you need to sit down and be, allow yourself to do so. When you need quiet time from your environment, it's okay to find ways to balance out that weight. When that voice tells you that your work, excuse me, that your work defines you, resist that. Work and things don't define us. It's who we are that truly matters, right? So in that uncomfortable moment of fighting with my anxiety that created the judgment and the doubt conversation, I had to remind myself of all of the great things that I have learned, that we are all capable of learning, that it is okay to feel uncomfortable sometimes and just sit in it, be there, as opposed to pushing through and making yourself more uncomfortable because you don't know what's on the other side of that, right? We have the strength to do so, but our bodies tell us when we actually need a moment. So I had a personal challenge during the heat wave. What that was just a reminder to myself to fight through the familiar and be kinder to myself in this process of living, right? We have enough going on that we don't have to beat ourselves up when life is already putting a lot on our plates, right? So that was pretty much my share for today. Of course, you that are watching, yes, I and possibly you that are watching have a lot of things that must be done, right? But again, take downtime, listen to your surroundings, put some music on, stream a show, something you may have missed or something that may make you laugh. It's okay to be and do whatever that means to you. For me, it might be just sitting still and listening to music. For you, it may be taking a walk. But I believe that radical love is manifested when you are kind to yourself. And I also believe that that leads to kindness towards others that will spread and change our world. And it's the little things. So Thank you so much for taking time with me these few minutes, about 10 minutes, just to listen to my empowering share for today, the Empowered Pause. If you have any comments, feel free to comment, feel free to like, share, shoot this to someone who may feel it's helpful. Do visit our website, see if you want to share that with anyone. If you want to help out, we're available. We're looking at having volunteers and putting up some more programs. So we're working on that as well. And if you would like to be a part of the Empowered Pause, please feel free to send me an email. Send an email, and you feel free to send it to directly to me or to Speak Initiative, the page. You can send an email directly there, or you can send an email to our main address, which is speaksuicideprevention@gmail.com. Okay. Again, have a great week. I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.